Alright, so in the last few videos, kind of went through how to skin them out, skin out a walleye. But what I did is, after I got all the meat out of it, I threw it in my water to rinse it. So here's what we're left with, as you can see. And here's that nick that I'm going to have to fix later. So what you want to do is you want to get as much of this meat out as possible. So I'll just trim that out. Trim this out. Like I said, I leave quite a bit on there. What I do is I usually use like a zip tie, and I'll zip tie it right here, and then I'll trim the excess off after I do that. Also, with the forms, you got to clean all this out of there. That can be quite difficult. The main thing is just using a shear and getting up in there. You just kind of work your way back and forth. Get that all out of there. It's violent, makes a lot of noise. It's kind of gross, but if you don't get it out of there, you'll never get your form to fit properly. Sometimes you gotta trim the form a little bit, which I've done that too. It doesn't, not that big of a deal. But you don't want to leave anything in there, because sometimes it'll attract bugs. Shrinkage is another big thing. This is all part of the skull. And you'll see what I mean. I'll get a form here in a second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All I'm trying to do is carve that all out. Sometimes I'll do that after it's been in the tan too. You know, like crappies or bluegills, sometimes perch. I'll do that just because the fish tan tends to stiffen up the skin. I mean, it prevents a lot of damage when you do it that way. But as you can see, I'm just kind of digging that all out. You'll know when the brain comes out. So so if you kind of look, I'm like way up in this region, and that's where you want to be. You want to get that all cleaned out and out of there, because then you can get your form to fit. And the forms, I have found, all do the same thing. They all want to go way up in there. Spinal cord. Go. Now I got that big old pocket in there. And that's where the brains are at. Trim a little bit more right here. Now, get all that out of there. Take our form. Where did I put it? Right here. So if you look at our form, this is the part right here that's got to go up in there. So The reason why you clean that out is so that goes up in there just like that. Goes all the way up into that pocket. That's a good fit. Actually, this form I think is going to be perfect for this fish. Might not have to do anything on it. Oh yeah, she's looking good. Another thing I like to do too is I always test my forms, see how much trimming and shaving I'm going to have to do. But as long as you got the length right, you can work with the rest. The length is definitely good on this one. So, put that off to the side. So now, next step I'm going to do is I'm probably going to trim this back a little bit, this fin area here. I want to clean that up a little bit more. And I'm holding my scissors very flat because I don't want to cut through that skin. And all I'm doing is trimming all that meat off of there. Some forms you have to go way up in here. You gotta go way up into this area. This form, the form that we're using, you don't. I'm still gonna clean it out because it'll shrink otherwise if you don't. And then what I'll do is I'll take some fish fill or clay and I'll put it in there, and that'll help fill that back up. Because whatever you take out, you gotta rebuild. That tail basically cleaned out. Just trying to get some of this other meat out of here. There we go. So now, you know, I'll take this and I'll trim along here. You also got to be careful not to poke through. I'll trim that around here. Another thing I like to do is I like to trim along the fins. Just holding that knife or that scissors very flat, and you don't want to poke through or cut through. When you're cutting, you just want to get as much meat off as possible. And they have scrapers for this. They're actually used for clay, so instead of buying one from a taxidermy supplier, go to your local hobby store or craft store like Michael's or something and get a set of them. I'll show you what they look like here. So this is a jumbo carving set. I got it at Michael's. It's got different little ones in there that you can use for cleaning up after this, because you're going to use those to scrape everything. So what I'm doing now is I'm trimming along the edge of these fins here. I got my fingers pinched underneath. I'm trying to show you how I'm holding it like this. And what I do is I kind of pull it straight, and then I run my scissors along there like so, trimming that excess meat off, and just work my way along, holding my scissors very flat because you don't want to cut through. And you can see how I'm getting a lot of that meat off. You have to do that, otherwise it doesn't fit in the form. And if it does fit on the form when you do that, a lot of times it'll shrink in them areas or collect bugs. You don't want that either. That'll ruin a perfectly good mount. basically just trimming, cleaning up. Like I said before, this is so much easier to do once you get the meat off. And then I use various tools to scrape along the edges. Just be careful, you don't want to cut through. It's easy to do, believe me. Especially on fish like perch and bluegills, smaller fish. Tends to take a toll on your back when you've been standing up doing this though. So sometimes it's nice to have a nice tall chair. I have one, I'm just doing this for the video actually. Alright, so got that all off. I mean, there's a little bit more that I can probably trim off of there. But for the most part, it's clean. Trim a little bit more off, I think. Hope you guys find this helpful. I mean, that's one thing that's helped me was looking online and seeing videos like Matuska does a really good one on this. There's also some other videos out there that are really good. But yeah, I mean, that's, if you want to learn how to do this on your own, that's the way you do it. By watching videos. Now, one thing I've learned from doing this is that borax, you're going to use a lot of it. And what I do is I sprinkle some borax on the inside here, and it helps to soak up a lot of the blood and other liquids, and it helps with the cleaning process. And you could probably wear gloves too if you're doing this. What it is it's just like a laundry detergent. I use the Mule Team stuff. You can get it at like Dollar General or Walmart. You can also get it from your taxidermy suppliers. Their stuff is I haven't found a difference with it yet. They say it's different, but I don't know. Save money where you can, I guess. So here's one of them scraping tools I was telling you about. Obviously it's a little dirty, I gotta clean it real quick here. And all you're gonna do is you just basically, you don't want to push down too hard because you could damage the skin, but you're just basically going to work your way from the front to the back, and you're just scraping as you go, and all you're doing is getting that skin, that remaining stuff off of your skin here. And like I said, you want to be careful because you can easily poke through. We did that the other day. Not cool when you do that. It was actually on a crappie that I did that on. Got a little too aggressive and poke through. I was in a hurry. One thing I can tell you is you never want to be in a hurry when you're doing this because you'll mess something up. And what I'll do is I'll just get a majority of this off now, and then I'll probably put it in my tanning solution and then just let it soak. Sometimes, I don't know, I've had good luck letting them sit in there for a week. And then what I'll do afterwards is I'll go through and I'll touch everything up, re-scrape everything, and anything that's left you can easily cut off or scrape off after it's been in the tan. But if you can get it, a lot of it now, I would do that. Obviously got a tub of water behind me. I'm just cleaning up my edge every once in a while. Now you'll see how I kind of go side to side like that. I don't know if that's, I don't know, that's just the way I do it. I haven't had any issues with losing scales yet. But, you know, I'll do side to side and then front to back motion just like this. And all I'm basically doing is just making sure that I'm getting the rest of that meat off of there. Another thing too is you want to get up in here. I found that the borax actually helps to grab hold of that. Now all this black skin that's on the side here, kind of want to get all that off too. So that's where it helps having a nice pointy edge to your scraping tool. That comes in handy when you're doing this. Just work your way down, scraping it all off. Expose my vision a little bit here. So it's basically what you're doing is you're just basically scraping whatever is left on there off. Just want to be careful not to force anything or be too aggressive, because you can really damage a lot if you do. You're going to want to scrape up in here. I have some different tools. Like here's another smaller one that works good for doing this kind of stuff. It also works good at cleaning out the cheeks, which we're gonna have to do in a little bit here. But yeah, basically you just cleaning as much off as you can. Like I said, we'll go through and clean off a lot more of this later. Especially like right in here. I don't like to get too aggressive right now, because once this stiffens up, it's a lot easier to clean up. Because the skin will get tough too. That's that collarbone. Right here, you can easily damage that. But yeah, You just work your way around very slowly. A pair of shears is nice to have. Dogs are being naughty. You can hear Mama yelling at them. Alright. I think that's about as clean as I'm going to want to get it for right now. And I'll show you, I'll go and rinse it off real quick and I'll show you what we're looking at now. What I'll do later is I'll clean up in here, a little bit more. I'll get any leftover stuff that I haven't gotten already off. And I'll finish all that later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it out. One thing that I found helps clean my table off is I use one of these spreaders and just kind of scrape it. And then I'll bring my garbage can up to the table. Garbage cans. This is where having a stainless steel table comes in handy. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. That's after I scrape it. Now I'll go through after it's been in the tin and I'll clean up this a little bit more. I'll clean up around here a little bit more. I might do that right now, but basically you get the gist of it. So I'm going to touch this up a little bit more and then I'll show you how to take the cheeks out.